Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Human Resources Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, July 18, 2024, and I will begin with roll call. Commissioner Adams,
Present.
Commissioner Armstead, noted that she is not present. Commissioner Gannon,
Present.
Commissioner Hayes,
Present.
Commissioner Jordan,
Present.
Commissioner Cohen,
Present.
Commissioner Lloyd. It is noted that she is not present. Commissioner Whitlock,
Present.
Commissioner Wooten. It is noted that he is not present. We have a quorum. Thank you, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Melinda. Good morning, Commissioners. We welcome you back to our Resource Committee meeting and look forward to having a healthy discussion and a report from the various departments. Let me first state, I apologize for not being at the executive meeting due to meeting conflicts as we welcome our two new commissioners, Commissioner Lloyd and Commissioner Whitlock. We welcome you to the Resource Commission. We look forward to engaging with you and to moving the commission forward as we are directed by the St. Louis County by the St. Louis County Council. In discharging our duties to oversee this commission in terms of the housing affordability, needs for the homeless, and other various aspects pertaining to housing for St. Louis County. I would like to, since Commissioner Lloyd is absent today, I would like for Commissioner Whitlock to provide introduction, and then we will proceed with the agenda.
Okay, I'm Desiree Whitlock, and I'm the education liaison to Dr. Page. I work with all the superintendents throughout St. Louis County. And I thank you all for welcoming me to this commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitlock. It's wonderful to have you aboard, and we look forward to working with you as we proceed with our mission as given to us by Dr. Page.
Thank you.
Can we have the introduction of the staff who are attending today?
Robinson Taylor. I'm the home program specialist. Good morning.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. This is Amy Ellis, Division Manager for Office of Community Development.
Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Shansia Mayfield, Program Manager for Supportive Housing Services.
Good morning, Chauncey.
Good morning. This is Alice Brown with St. Louis County Department of Human Services Account Manager.
Good morning, Alice.
My name is Robert Smith. I am the accounting supervisor for the Department of Human Services.
Good morning, Robert. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
I'm Matt Callanan with the County Counselor's Office.
Morning, Matt. All right, we will move forward with the Commissioner Hayes. Are there any additional items we want to address prior to us proceeding with the agenda? Was there something I know missed the executive meeting. Was there something you want to provide an update on the executive meeting that took place besides the appointment of the new commissioners?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman, not at this time.
Thank you, sir.
And Chair Adams, I would just like to point out that Commissioner Armstead is here. I'm not sure if she was here for the roll call, but I wanted that reflected in the meeting minutes that she has now joined.
Thank you, Mac. Commissioner Armstead, are you?
Yes, I'm present. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Glad you could join us today. Thank you so much. I want to start the meeting by thanking Kaya for all of her service to the commission. I know she was moving forward to pursuing her MBA, which is her MSW. I believe that's what she's pursuing, her graduate degree. And we appreciate all the coordination and effort she provided to us during her tenure here. And we're going to miss her presence. We're going to miss the work she's provided. And she was a great asset during the time that she was here. So I want to take the time myself to thank her for what she has done for the Housing Resource Commission while she was here. We want to move forward to the number 3 of the agenda, the approval of the minutes. We have everyone was emailed the April 1st minutes and the May 16th minutes. And if you had a chance to review those, if there are any corrections to the minutes at this time, please make note of that now, or we can move forward to the approval of the minutes as read.
So do you want one motion for both minutes? Or do you want to do those individually?
No, we can do them both.
Okay, then I make a motion for approval of the minutes of April 1st, 2024 and May 16th, 2024.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as read for April 1st, 2024 and May 16th, 2024. We can start the roll call for the vote.
And Commissioner Adams, you do not have to have a roll call vote for this. There could be an affirmation vote for it. Obviously, you have the ability that you could do a roll call vote if you like to, but it is not required for approval of the minutes.
For the, in case of time, we're going to follow Mac's direction, and we're going to have the vote approved as affirmed by all commissioners. All agreed?
Okay.
We consider that
Commissioner
motion.
Adams, so you would ask for all in favor and then all opposed.
Thank you, Mac. All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. There are no opposed. The motion has passed that we accept the approval for the minutes as read for April 1st, 2024 and May 16th, 2024. Item number 4 on the agenda is the Department of Human Services update. And we will start with the homeless program. We will now give the floor to Chauncea Mayfield.
Good morning to everyone again.
morning.
Just wanted to provide a update in regards to the 2025 request for proposal. That proposal was completed and submitted to procurement, that's St. Louis County Procurement, for its review and approval. And as of Monday, we heard back from procurement, and the proposal, I'm sorry, the RFP has been submitted to St. Louis County Legal for its final review and approval. And we anticipate that that request for proposal will be posted to the public to solicit potential partners for those services the first week in August. Do we have any questions in regards to the 2025 request for proposal? And once it's actually posted, everyone will be notified that it has been posted.
Okay.
Thank you, Chauncea. Are there any questions for Chauncea concerning that proposal that's been submitted for review? I thought I saw Commissioner Whitlock. I thought I saw your window light up. The
No,
chair recognizes
my
you.
error. I was getting my paper here. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Chairman, may I mention just one item?
Yes, the chair recognizes Commissioner Hayes.
Okay. Shansi, I just want to be completely accurate. When you say everyone will be notified, you mean our commissioners, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That
Okay.
Linda will send notification that the RFP has been posted, and also there will be a link where you can actually review the RFP. So the commissioners, yes, sir.
It's minor, but when we're dealing with our commissioners, I want to be very specific.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Are there any additional questions for Chauncey in reference to the request for proposal? If not, thank you, Chauncey, for that update. We want to move forward to the Was there a question?
No, sir. I was
Okay,
just saying you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. We want to move to the finance report. We should all have a copy of that report in the previous email. You can go ahead and pull that document up to review. And we will ask for Robert Smith to provide us with the HRC finance report, followed by Alice Brown for the marijuana tax update. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, sir. Do I need to share? Or there it is. Currently, our funding for this 2024 is $512,480.80, of which we have shown expenses of $84,859.80, which is 16.56 of the HRC funds that have been expensed. With the year-to-date from 2023, we're looking at $444,383.43 for funds for next year's disbursement. Is there any other additional information or questions that I can field?
Robert, can you provide us detail on the accounts payable item under the HRC cash balance as of 2023? Can you provide a breakdown of that accounts payable?
I can provide that information for you. I don't have that information at my fingertips at the moment, but I will get that information to you.
Okay. We would appreciate that. Is there a year-to-date amount for that same line item?
From what I understand, that should have reflected what occurred in 2023.
Yes. Commissioners, we've heard the initial report from Robert. Are there any additional questions on this year-to-date revenue report as of December 2023? are there any potential questions you may have that you want to present Robert for research that he can bring to the next meeting?
None from me.
Any other commissioners?
I would say
And
none
I'd like
other,
to,
I'm sorry. I would say none
okay,
other than the information that you've already requested.
okay.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm looking at my document. It's not downloading properly because I'm getting an error message on the fee income numbers.
Yeah.
But I see Robert's document, so I can see the numbers here, but I can't see it on my document. I'm going to go back and I think re-download that under Excel. I think I have it under Google Sheets right now, so it's not properly downloaded. So I can't adequately look at that to generate any additional questions. But with the exception for that one line item, I would like to have a breakdown of that accounts payable, and then we will discuss that at the next meeting. If there's no additional questions from the commissioners, we can move on to Ms. Alice Brown in reference to the marijuana tax update.
Wait, do you need a motion to accept the financial report?
We will once we finish with this update.
Oh, okay.
Good morning again. Okay, so our balance in the marijuana account is $80,016.17. Unfortunately, Treasury did not include the dispensary tax summary sheet. They don't get it no more from the state. So I'm basing off of our two deposits we had this year, which one was in May and the other one was in June. Looking at these figures, it's probably still the same amount of dispensaries that we had at the end of 2023. And that was 18 dispensaries at that time. Not sure if that amount went up or not.
Alice, can you go back and repeat what you said about they're not submitting the report anymore? Can you provide clarity on that, please? I didn't quite understand that.
So we don't get that sheet that breaks down which dispensary is providing that we are retrieving these sales tax from. We don't get that spreadsheet anymore from the state. So all I have are the numbers that I can report as of now. Of the funds. I can only report the numbers of the funds at this moment.
Okay. Did the state provide a email communication or a letter communication regarding them stopping providing that information?
No, not to me personally. I've received the email from Treasury, our Treasury, stating that that summary sheet is not provided no more or needed anymore.
And there was no reason given.
No, Mr. Hayes, did you get a reason behind the reason why we're not receiving this summary sheet anymore?
It's my understanding from Tony's office, state has said they no longer have the ability to generate that report. We can investigate further for you, Mr. Chairman, but that is what we're hearing from that office.
Yeah, I think it's important that we understand the reason why they're not providing the information, because we have to place in our archives to the St. Louis Council as to why we cannot give a proper update for the number of dispensaries coming in, who has been accounted for, because that goes into our funding mechanism. So that's highly unusual for them to arbitrarily just cut off. Well, we're just not going to do it anymore. That's not acceptable. So I would appreciate if that could be investigated and have some type of formal reason that we can place in our own archives to say that, well, we received notification from the state that such and such cannot take place due to a system issue, or there's a system change in how we account for this information. Because from my understanding, they're still accepting applications for dispensaries, and dispensaries are going into business. Therefore, they have to be tracked.
Mr. Chairman, I want to be sure, are you talking
Mhm.
about recreational dispensaries or medicinal?
Well, it's not clear because she said that the summary sheet is no longer provided. So are you saying that there's another sheet for recreational and a separate sheet for medicinal?
When you said they're still accepting applications for dispensaries, and I wanted to be sure, were you talking about medicinal, medical, or recreational? We don't receive any funding from the recreational component.
Correct.
Yes, I was just speaking in general. So
Okay.
for the ones we are receiving funding from, is she saying that that's the one that's no longer being received as far as a summary?
Medical. In general, we need to get you the information you need. So Tony, and I've forgotten her last name, that's the county's auditor, correct? Alice?
Yes, Tony Jackson is the
So from Ms.
auditor.
Jackson, we will have something that we can archive for the commission. So Alice, I need you to reach out for clarity to Ms. Jackson, the county auditor. Are you clear on what you need to do? And just copy me in.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get it to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Hayes. Ms. Brown.
Yes, sir.
How are you currently doing your reporting manually from what to date, as far as you gathering the financial numbers? Is that done manually at this point?
So the deposits are done by our treasury into our accounts. So I'm able to retrieve those numbers through our ERP system.
And for the
Which
record,
is
just
our
repeat
accounting system.
for the record, repeat the numbers for May and June, please.
A was $6,516.17. June was $5,057.77. It is a total of $11,572 for 2024.
Ms. Brown, is there a way that, and let me know if this is incorrect, if that can somehow be a line item on the report that Mr. Smith provides us? Is that possible? Or are those two separate financial mechanisms?
It's two different financial mechanism. But we can provide it on one spreadsheet for you and have one report. Yes, we can do that.
But if that is
It'll be
possible,
on
I
a
would like-
different tab.
yes, if you can add a different tab, so we can at least have that on record on our document, and we can see the deposit amounts coming in, and at least we have that. And then we can work
Yes.
on the other issue that the state has caused with this decision to not provide us with a summary report. And until we
Okay.
find out from the state, from our local auditor, we can work with that.
Okay, sounds
Is
good.
there- Do the other commissioners agree with that process of adding that line item to the current report so we can at least see that information going forward? Is there any discussion concerning that from the other commissioners?
No, I think that's a great idea, and I just think it's kind of weird that the state treasurer isn't giving us this report. Is that right? The state treasurer?
So I'm not sure where this report originally generated from, but we normally get it from our St. Louis County treasurer. And she do not have access to this report anymore. So I'm not sure where she retrieved it from, but more likely it is from the state. So I will follow up after this meeting with the treasurer and the auditor on how we can request to get this report again.
Thank you, Ms. Brown and Mr. Smith, for those reports and those updates concerning the finance report as well as the marijuana tax update. And we look to receive that update of the research concerning why the summary was discontinued and how we will proceed with having a more formal report going forward.
Okay. Chair, I would also want to clarify on the financial report you're requesting from Mr. Smith. Are you looking for the 2023 year to date and what we had already expensed, or do you actually just need the 2024, the current year to date expense? Because you
I
said
want-
2023, so I just want to make sure.
Per today's report, it was concerning the year-to-date end of year 2023 for the accounts payable. That's the breakdown I was requesting. And then going
Okay.
into 2024, I wanted to see what the status it was to date for the accounts payable. Because those expenses, I want to see how the expenses are flowing as opposed to last year.
Okay, yes. We can have that for you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then that would give the commissioners a chance to look at the breakdown, and that we can talk about the expenses and how that could affect our budgeting discussion moving forward.
Okay, yes, that sounds great. We can have that to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Whitlock.
Yes, the question I have, will we have access to this information by the next meeting? When will we be provided that information? As far as the marijuana tax, all the other information that'll be included, will we have that by the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Are there any additional questions from the commissioners? At this time, for both reports, for both the HRC finance report as well as the marijuana tax update report, the chair will now entertain a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll second it.
It's been properly motioned and seconded that we receive the HRC finance report as well as the marijuana tax update report. By affirmation, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
For those opposed, say nay. By affirmation, the ayes have it, and the motion has been approved to accept the finance report as well as the marijuana tax update report at this time. Item number 5, the HRC chair report. Melinda, there was in the email communication for the past week, there was something mentioned about someone wanting to make a statement during the meeting?
Commissioner Gannon had some information she wanted to provide to everyone today. Commissioner Gannon, are you ready? Do you have your information for us?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Melinda. And the chair recognizes Commissioner Terry Gannon at this time.
Okay, so this has been an exciting time for realtors. We've been working for at least 3 years on legislation that was signed into law by Governor Parsons. Well, was it last week? I don't know, at least 2 weeks ago, maybe. Anyway, it was bill number 2062 and Senate Bill 895. Both of these are legislations that the realtors have been working on. The specifics of this bill are several things. For me, the one that I've been working on with my state representative, Kevin Windham, is the land banks legislation. So what this does is it allows we started this for St. Louis County. There are so many vacant properties that sit in, go up for auction every year. The liens against these properties are so high, nobody will bid on them because the liens outweigh the value of the property. So we started working on legislation for land banks for St. Louis County. And then other realtors throughout the state heard we were working on this. And I guess Kansas City was working on some legislation, so was Springfield. And so instead of doing this all together, separately, we all banded together to work on this legislation. And after 3 years, it was finally 3 years of work. This was the second year that it was presented to the governor. In this last year, there were some additions. Well, and because of, the way things were going up at the state, a lot of things got tacked on to this legislation. But the big thing was land banks, which allows public entities to acquire, manage, and develop vacant, abandoned, or foreclosed properties. So this will allow land banks to acquire these unsellable properties, clear title, which is important, eliminate liens, which will make them affordable, and allow people to obtain these properties for rehab and development. It also, I guess the LRA in the city is one of the oldest land banks in the country, and it also sets some guidelines for them to accept if they want to into their land bank. So let's see. So there were other things that were tacked onto that bill. One of them deals with eviction moratoriums. So in the past, municipalities, cities tried to stop evictions. So this bars local governments from enforcing a moratorium on evictions unless specifically authorized by state law. So that will allow, landlords to redeem their properties, keep them viable, and make them available to people who can or will pay the rent. I think a lot of our problems came with COVID and the moratorium on paying rents. And then after the moratorium was over, landlords couldn't get them evicted. And so it was a whole big mess. So we saw a whole lot of landlords just selling and dumping their properties in the condition that they were in, which is not good for anybody. It's not good for neighborhoods. It's not good for homeowners. It's not good for tenants. It's not good for property values. So this is one of the items that was in this legislation. The other one was prohibiting pre-sale inspections. There are several municipalities in St. Louis County. If you want me to name names, I will. But this prohibits them from requiring pre-sale inspections. So some of these municipalities would not allow you to advertise your property, put it in the MLS, or promote the property for sale until you paid for a very expensive inspection. Now, you didn't have to do the work, but it's kind of a restriction for free trade. So this doesn't have anything to do with occupancy permits or inspections or anything like that. People still have to have occupancy permits and the houses have to meet code before they move in, but at least it will allow homeowners to sell their properties as is without obtaining very expensive inspections before putting it on the market. It also updated the language on historic tax credits. So I don't know if you know, but this is money that comes from the federal government. Missouri is one of the largest users of historic tax credits. So it allows developers, homeowners that have historic properties to obtain tax credits. I mean, that's a whole big process. I'm not going to go into the details of how that works, but it does encourage development of historic properties. Lastly, let me make sure I got everything else before I get to this. Oh, well, you know, we also in St. Louis County passed a that they're working on now, the tax freeze for seniors. So they also allowed that at the state. And so this, because it passed at the state level, it will allow more counties to approve senior tax freezes. So we're working on that. But the last thing that got tacked onto this legislation was about chickens. So a lot of municipalities allow chickens, some don't allow chickens, and that's okay. Municipalities can still regulate chickens, but homeowners associations, so let's say unincorporated areas of St. Louis County or any counties that have homeowners associations, can no longer legislate chickens. So if you want to legislate chickens, you need to be incorporated in order to do that. So there you have it. I think this is all good for home ownership, for making houses available, especially the land bank legislation. I'm looking forward to getting a lot of these derelict and abandoned properties on the market and livable and generating taxes. So here's to Kevin Windham and all the legislators that worked so hard on this. Brian Williams too. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of these guys. So that's my report. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner
Yes,
Gannon. The chair recognizes Commissioner Armstead.
Terry, congratulations. 3 years of work. That's amazing. I know you've got to be feeling amazing.
Let me just say, it was amazing. I almost didn't go to the bill signing. And I thought, yeah, it's not that big a deal. But you know, it was a rainy day. My appointment's canceled. At the last minute, I decided to go. How thrilling to be with all the people who worked so hard, have the governor sign it right there in front of you. And everybody who was there got a signed copy by the governor. I didn't think this was this big a deal. I said to Kevin Windham, "Oh, what are you going to do with yours?" He goes, "Man, I'm framing it. I'm hanging it in my office. This is quite an accomplishment." And I thought, oh, this is a big deal. Okay, I'm going to do that too. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. It was great.
That's great. I hope you frame yours too. I have a question, Terry. You know how we have, it seems like over the past year, we've talked a lot about these private equity firms coming in, and with the land grant piece, like, do you believe that with this new legislation that common people will be able to get these properties and not open the door now for more of the private equity firms to come in on that one, as well as the other piece of the legislation with the as is, where they get to come in and just sell junk property to people? You know, the things that we've been talking about, you know, as commissioners with the private equity firms and what they are really doing to, in essence, destroy, you know, North County and people trying to create home ownership. Can you give us some insight to how this will help with that?
Yes. So that was something we talked about a lot. And what this land banks legislation does is it allows entities, cities of over, over 1,500 people, or, you know, counties or municipalities to establish their own land banks. So when they establish their land banks, they can choose to regulate who gets priority and how it's going to work. So let's say when St. Louis County actually starts working on this, they can, if they want to, they can give priority to homeowners. They can also put a limit on how long you have to take to get that property rehabbed. I know with the LRA in the city, because I've helped people buy some of their properties, what they do is before you can purchase that property, you have to present a plan. So you have to show the city what you plan to do to the property, how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost. And then if they like your plan, then they approve you for purchase. And then they check on you. So if you haven't done what you say you're going to do in 6 months or a year, I don't know what the penalties are, because I've never had anybody not fulfill their obligation, but I'm sure there are people who do that. So it's not designed for people who just want to grab up all these properties and hold them and never do anything with them. So that'll be up to the land bank to set their own guidelines. So if anybody's going to set up their commission, I'll be on it. So anyway.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's some type of influence that we might be able to have on that, because we just know the history of these.
Yes.
You know,
these private equity
are on top of it, because that is our concern too.
Okay.
So I'm sure we're going to have our finger in the pie.
Thank you, Commissioner Armstead. The chair recognizes Vice Chair Jordan, followed by Commissioner Hayes.
Good morning, Terry. Yes, congratulations. Wonderful. And I know you must feel great. I did have a question too about the aspect of the land bank portion you read about. You said that all liens would be forgiven? And
including MSD, which has been the hardest. So, yeah, so back taxes, grass cutting bills, MSD has always been the biggest one. So like if you've got a $10,000 piece of property and $20,000 worth of MSD bills, in the past, nobody was buying that property. It just wasn't worth it. Right. So yeah, so the city, the municipality, well, let's just talk about St. Louis County, would have the opportunity to clear those liens and give free and clear title. So right now, when you buy property at auction through St. Louis County, the owners, well, first of all, it can't be sold at auction for 3 years. And if you buy it, the original owners have a full year to redeem that property. So you can't even begin to hire a lawyer, do a quiet title to try to clear title on that for 9 months, because those people can come in at the last minute, pay their 3 years of back taxes and redeem the property. So that means that property is sitting out there for another year with nobody able to work on it. And then those people pay their taxes and then they still own that derelict property. So this is going to give them 3 years to pay their taxes. If it hasn't been paid in 3 years, when it goes for auction, St. Louis County can clear the title. And then when it's sold, there's no right of redemption. You've already had your 3 years to fulfill your obligations. Now, when it's sold, you get free and clear title. That's huge.
It is. I actually was thinking more along the lines of not the major like utilities and that kind of thing. That definitely is, would provide relief. I guess my mind went to my small businesses, contractors or folks like that who had no recourse, but to put a lien on a property.
Well, they've got 3 years. And usually a lien on a property is only good for 6 months.
I see.
So the contractor has to keep putting it on there every 6 months,
Okay.
So
And so if they do put it on there every 6 months, at the end of 3 years, if they haven't collected, they'll just have to write it off, basically. Okay. Okay, thank you for helping me understand.
Address it personally with those people, but it can no longer be attached to the property.
Very good. Thank you for that. I just was curious.
Commissioner Hayes.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Commissioner Gannon, can you work with Melinda to ensure all of the commissioners have copies of this legislation?
Oh, I love it.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then the final statement, I was chairman of LRA, Cities Land Bank, for 10 years, so I'm familiar with them. But Shannon, the county has no counterpart to that. We don't have a land bank. do we?
Well, we have the LCRA in the county, but the LRA in the city, as Commissioner Gannon said, was like one of the first, I think the first land bank in the nation, and LCRA doesn't have the same powers as the LRA. And then I was involved in some of the land banking stuff and different things that I've done. The land banking that like Kansas City started maybe 10 years ago or something is even a significant departure from what like the LRA does. I have the bill and bill summary in front of me, been waiting to read. So I'm interested to see what, has even changed from the way that Kansas City set up their land bank 10 years ago.
Yeah, we worked with Kansas City, Springfield, Columbia, everybody. Well, and other parts of the country too. We had people that sat in on this from other parts of the country. And so we gleaned their information. It was a big undertaking. It was amazing.
Huge. It's huge. And the county has been talking about land banking for, I started there in 13. So, and, there's always conversations about the need for this type of thing. So it's kind of amazing that it got done, and huge kudos to you and everybody who was involved, because it's awesome. Very awesome. Yeah.
So Commissioner Koenig, what you guys are saying is that should St. Louis County decide to, they can now create a land bank similar to the city's LRA.
Or better.
Better. I think it will be a more updated mechanism.
Yeah.
But yes, that's my understanding of what I know and Commissioner Gannon's presentation.
Oh, that's fine. And then the commissioners will look forward to copies of the legislation. And thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hayes and Commissioner Koenig. Just as a follow-up to a statement made by Commissioner Armstead, Commissioner Gannon, does the state legislation support, in reference to equity firms coming into the state, does it support the use of restrictive covenants to protect the affordability aspect of these?
I don't recall that it addresses anything like that. You know, every land bank will set their own guidelines. This just allows land banks to be established and does give some guidelines, but every municipality, every county could get more specific. So, you know, we didn't write a whole big 900-page book. We just, you know, it's just a bill.
So at this point, the legislation supports whichever each municipality does in terms of a land bank proposition, and then in turn, they will have to work with St. Louis County to agree to a overall land bank in the future. Is that how it would lead to?
Okay, so right now there are a few little municipalities in St. Louis County that have their own land banks. And if they want to continue that way, they can. But it would be so much easier for St. Louis County to establish one land bank and we all participate with the county instead of doing this by ourselves. It's just going to be easier. So
I agree with that, because at one time I was trying to work with Bonita Park. They have a substantial number of properties in Bonita Park, and
right.
They tried to go about establishing their own process. It's been a while since I've been a part of that, but they was making a valiant effort to do so. So I agree with you that it would be much easier. And with Commissioner Hayes' experience being with the LRA in the city, he could help to navigate how that could be structured that will work best for St. Louis County. So this is an important first step with this legislation. We congratulate you in all your efforts in working with the legislators getting that done. It will serve as an excellent foundation to move forward.
Right. And make more homes available
absolutely
for home ownership and get people into positions where they can build generational wealth.
Absolutely. Are there any additional questions concerning the presentation given by Commissioner Gannon in reference to the Senate Bill 895?
I have a question or maybe a comment. Since so many municipalities are able to do this on their own and figure it out on their own, is there anything that we believe as St. Louis County that we might offer as guidance, suggestions,
question,
or anything like that? Again, I just know that these firms, if they see an opportunity to come and, you know, jump in on this and keep poor people or lower middle income people out, they will do it. And they can convince a person in a municipality that they are going to make their community better. And I just wonder if because we all want the same thing, to the great point that Terry has been making about home ownership for people. That's what it was designed for. So how do we at least make some recommendations? I don't know. I'm just asking if that's something that we could do, just so that we are kind of locking arms around. We really want this to benefit exactly what Terry said, you know, home ownership for our residents, not new rental properties becoming available for them.
Commissioner Armstead, that was a great observation, in particularly focusing on why we are here as the Housing Resource Commissioners and us as supportive housing working with you all, and how will this benefit and how this can support the clients that we serve. And really looking at that and all that Terry has shared this morning, which is excellent. We as this group and body really focusing on how this can support, as I stated, the clients that we serve and that are in need of housing.
What is the county's relationship to the municipalities, you all? Like, how does all, I don't need to, I'm just, maybe that's an offline discussion. I was just wondering if there's a way to, you know, influence, talk about this with the people that are most likely to, you know, be utilizing this.
Okay, so
Armstead,
I'll try to answer. Go ahead.
If I may, Commissioner Gannon, Commissioner Armstead, I would like for Commissioner Koenig to address that, maybe if she will, since she was a vital part of the Affordable Housing Trust building and how that can corroborate what you're trying to do. Commissioner Koenig, is there a way for that to
I'm
come
happy
together?
I'm happy to say something here. I think Commissioner Gannon might be the best person, because what I was going to say is, I mean, yes, we did deal with or contemplate the relationship between the county and its municipalities when we were setting up the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but it really wasn't, it really wasn't like directly addressed. And I could probably talk about that for a few minutes. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, again, I have the bill in front of me, but I haven't read it yet, but I believe that this legislation, while it does enable land banks across the state of Missouri of varying jurisdictions, I believe St. Louis County is the, like, there, and it's not, I didn't know this until today, but so if you have an existing land bank in St. Louis County at the municipal level, and the only other one I know of is in Wellston, so I don't know what other communities might have them, but this legislation doesn't allow any municipalities in St. Louis County to start a land bank. Actually, St. Louis County is the only one who can, or that can, I should say. Is that correct, Commissioner Gannon?
I know that St. Anne, not St. Anne, Jennings has their own land bank.
Okay.
And I don't know that you could officially call it a land bank. So a lot of these municipalities got properties from St. Louis County for $1.
Right, there is
like
that.
The county's just trying to get them off their books, so they hand them to the municipalities for $1. So then, is that a land bank if they own these properties? It really isn't. But they have been obtaining these properties. Maybe they're clear in title. Maybe they're selling them. I'm just saying, selling them off to their friends or whatever. And so it hasn't been highly regulated and not really very efficient. A lot of the municipalities that I've worked with that have obtained these properties were sorry that they did, because, like, oh my gosh, they're terrible. So it really would just be better to have one land bank. But I know some of these little municipalities are kind of wanting to keep doing it themselves. And if they're pre-existing, I don't know what this, if this legislation changes that. But I know some municipalities have said to me, can we give our properties back to the county? So yeah, they have not liked owning these properties.
I thought that there was a restriction in the county, so I'll have to read the bill, and maybe if somebody finds that out in the bill, and maybe we should share the bill summary as well, when that's shared, that can be highlighted.
Yeah, I'll ask about that.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think that it certainly complicates the issue.
Yeah.
Commissioner Armstead, to your point.
Well, a lot of work has been done. We don't want to add further complications, but we do want to all the work that Terry and the legislators have done to help streamline the process. Should St. Louis County decide to say we're going to have an official land bank, and that means that bringing all the municipalities together to say yes, we can do this, and then develop with Commissioner Hayes' experience to develop maybe a pilot model that could be moved forward. And so that's a whole other discussion and a whole other process. But I think that's what Commissioner Gannon has done right now. It has served as a very excellent foundation to move forward. And it's going to probably take a little bit for that legislation to take place as far as a process, as far as it's starting to hit the various parts of the county, as far as to see how it works, to really see how it's going to affect moving property going forward.
I did put the name of the legislation. It's House Bill 2026 in the chat. So
Okay.
anybody who wants to, you can Google that and pull that up. You know, it's public information, so.
You said 2026, I thought you said 2062.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
It's 2062. Typo. I'm gonna change that right now. 2062. Yes.
And you referenced something else, Chair, 895. What did you?
Senate bill.
Senate bill.
Yes,
Okay,
Senate Bill
895.
895.
Okay.
But the one that the governor signed was House Bill 2026.
2062.
2062. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Which
Make sure
one
I
is
got
it?
it right. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Gannon, if you can get that,
2062.
if you can get a copy of that to Melinda, and she can distribute that to the rest of the commissioners, and as Commissioner
Thank
Gannon
you.
stated, we can
She
look at the
may have
executive
already
summary,
figured out.
and we can make that a discussion item for our next meeting to see how we can move that forward. We don't want to sleep on this. We want to make sure that we stay on top of how this bill is going to affect the movement of property in St. Louis County going forward. And
Yes,
see how we can
Chair Adams, I just sent it to Mr. Hayes and Melinda and Amy, but I want to wait till we receive from Terry to make sure that we are referencing the correct one.
That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any additional comments from the commissioners at this time? I want to yield the floor to Vice Chair.
I'd like to
Nancy
say
Jordan.
something if I can, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I agree with Commissioner Umstead. She hit on a lot of points in regards to individuals that are coming into the communities and purchasing land or purchasing homes. And these homes are sitting there vacant. Has been a major concern of mine for a long time. You know, it is great to see that there's going to be some type of movement, but the other fact is communication. If these individuals are not aware of the different resources that are out there, you know, my question is, how do we communicate that information to individuals so they'll know this is who you need to contact? Or if you are thinking about doing this, because you have folks that are all over the page, and they may not know who is it that I can contact if I need to, you know, because I know these folks in my community, they basically are sending out all these cards and they're asking, okay, we want to buy your house. We want to, you know, sell us your house. And my neighbors are very concerned. Okay, I'm in the 63136 zip code. And we do have some homes that are vacant. But the one thing that I do see is that our neighbors are cutting that grass and making sure that it looks good on the front. However, there are individuals that are concerned about the derelict properties, people keeping their properties up, etc. And they just want to know what are the resources that are available. Is that something they can get through? You know, where can they go to get access to that information?
Commissioner Whitlock, I would like for Amy Ellis to address that if she can, please. Amy?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Whitlock, this is new information for all of us. So I would like to do some research and get back to you next month, if that's acceptable, or next meeting.
Okay. Okay. That would be great because I think it's a major need, and it's just not in my zip code, but it's pretty much a spread everywhere, from what I'm hearing from other individuals in other communities. So yes, I will welcome getting that information.
Great, thank you.
Amy, can you provide Commissioner Whitlock just a small background of your role for St. Louis County?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I am the division manager for the Office of Community Development, and in our office, we administer the county's HUD grants, so CDBG, home, and ESG. And so we work obviously in this space, but the land banking is, and everything is, as Terry and Shannon have mentioned, is this is new and exciting news for us. So I'd like to get my bearings and then give you a better report at the next meeting.
I think that would be very helpful, and I thank you very much, Ms. Ellis, because I just want to ensure that folks have the resources and they know who to contact. So thank you. I look forward to receiving that information.
Yes.
May I ask something?
Go ahead, Commissioner Armstead.
So thank you, Ms. Whitlock, for your comments. I believe that might be separate from the new legislation, the communication. I don't know that, Amy, that we need those to be connected. And I say this as a very personally. I own my parents' home in the 63136 zip code, and our older two sons are renting it out, and it is a beautiful home, beautiful neighborhood. Like, I love it. It's where I grew up. The house next door has grass that is now at least 8 feet in the backyard, and so our neighbors we're cutting the front yard. And here I am, a commissioner, and I don't even know what to do. So my sons are saying, Mom, come over. When you come over, let's go look at the backyard. And our little boys are like, it's like Jumanji, So I don't even know where to go, to Ms. Whitlock's point. It has nothing to do with what Terry presented. It's just, I don't know where to go. And so when we drive around in 63136, some front yards look like the backyard of this other house. And I'm thinking, well, if no one cares about the front yard, surely I can't get anything done about the backyard. So I feel like that's a side conversation, but it is so important. How do I not even know where to go?
Right.
And if I don't know where to go, who does? And so Amy, aside from the land grant, from that piece of it, do you know where people go and how people get help? I believe it's a derelict landlord situation that we're in.
For those situations where there's the tall grass or any type of, I'm going to say eyesore, but if they're not following county or municipal ordinances, you would contact for unincorporated properties, it would be code enforcement, which is in our public works division. And most municipalities you would contact the city hall. They probably have, they either have their own code enforcement, or they may even contract with the county. So for those types of issues, I don't know the phone number off the top of my head, and I can certainly find that, but that's where you would that's who you would call for those types of issues.
Would it be even if it's unincorporated?
Yes, if there's for unincorporated properties, you would call the St. Louis County Public Works. There's a code enforcement division within Public Works, and for properties that fall within any particular municipality, you would contact that municipality, who they may refer you to the county because they may contract those services with the county, but you would start with the municipality where the property is located.
It's unincorporated, so I'll try to, I'm gonna see how
Yeah.
easy it is to navigate
be
this
us.
on my own, and I'll report back at our next, next meeting.
Right. I can certainly email you later today with the specific phone number. I just don't know it off the top of my head.
It would be possible for me to get that as well.
Sure, I
Thank
can.
you.
I'll provide it to Melinda. She can forward it to
Yeah,
the
that'd be
entire
great.
group.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you,
and I
Amy, for sharing
posted
with
the
us.
summary
Go ahead.
that I
Commissioner
posted
Gannon,
the
go ahead.
summary that I found online in the chat. So
Yes, I saw that. Commissioner Gannon, thank you for putting that into the chat concerning Senate bill and the House bill. Thank you so much. During this, also like to give space to Ms. Nikki Lloyd and Ms. Karen Taylor. Forgive those titles because I just want to be formal. I want to give space to both of you to share with us anything you would like for the commission if you think we should know something at this time. And we recognize your efforts and we appreciate your participation with us. So the chair recognizes Ms. Nikki Lloyd, then followed by Ms. Karen Taylor.
Thank you, Chair Adams. I don't have anything to share at this time. I'm simply learning and I appreciate the information that's being presented. So I'm taking that all in and I may have something to share in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Taylor?
I'm a staff member. I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. For the next meeting, I will have a little bit more detail for the chair's report. There's some things I'm trying to investigate, and then I will share that with the commissioners at the next official meeting. If there's not any additional information, we appreciate all that's been provided today and all the reports, and we look forward to those updates as they come in. I would like to see if especially with the Treasury and the Audit Office, I would like to have that information prior to the meeting to digest that. And if that could be given to Melinda, I would appreciate that. And then we can have a more detailed discussion at the next meeting. That is in reference to agenda item number 6, the next Housing Resources meeting is Thursday, September the 19th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The current time is 10:18 a.m. If there's not any additional questions or additional updates, Vice Chair Jordan, do you have anything else to add for today's meeting?
May I ask you to repeat what the next meeting is? When the next meeting is? Did you just say that? I apologize.
Yes, Thursday, September the 19th, 2024, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Jordan, are you still present?
She noted she was having some audio issues, I thought, in the
Oh,
chat.
I did see that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I am here and no, I have nothing.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. If there's not any additional information, the chair would now recognize a motion to adjourn with a second.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Just a couple of quick items for Commissioner Armstead. In St. Louis County, grass must be maintained below 8 inches. And I chat, if it is not, numbers you can call for South County and North County.
Thank you.
And I am actually sending that link to Melinda right now, so she'll be sending that out to all of you shortly.
Thank you, Commissioner Hayes. And I see, well, I see one link from the Senate bill. Okay, thank you, Amy, for doing that. And thank you, Commissioner Hayes, for providing that additional phone number resource for the derelict property issue addressed by Commissioner Whitlock and Commissioner Armstead. Again, if there's not anything else, again, I appreciate you taking the time out to join us today and to share with us your insight into what's taking place. I say good things happening for the rest of the year as we engage with each other to move forward in developing good housing, good affordable housing, and addressing the housing issues for St. Louis County, as we have been directed by the St. Louis County Council. Again, if not, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn with a motion and a proper second.
So moved.
Second.
By affirmation, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same, say nay. By affirmation, the ayes have it, and the motion has been approved to adjourn. The time is 10:21 a.m. Again, thank you so much. Look for Melinda's emails for those updates that have been requested, and then we look forward to your attendance at our next meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.